All right, you're not going to believe this, but I've got a story for you that'll make your skin crawl. It's about this old abandoned church deep in the woods, St. Hallow's Church. You ever heard of it? No? Well, let me tell you, it's not the kind of place you stumble upon by accident. Back in the 1800s, something terrible happened there. The whole congregation, around 40 people, vanished in one night, just gone. No bodies, no blood, nothing but overturned pews and a creepy message scrawled on the altar. Since then, the place has been abandoned, left to rot, and surrounded by rumours of curses and hauntings, people who've gone there to investigate. Yeah, most don't come back. And the ones who do, they're not the same. Fast forward to now. A group of college friends decides they're going to check it out, because apparently horror movie logic applies to real life. They've heard the rumours and can't resist the thrill. There's Claire, the skeptic who thinks ghost stories are nonsense. She's always the voice of reason. Her boyfriend Jake, who's just along for the ride, he's more interested in the company than the adventure. Sarah, the artsy one, obsessed with the paranormal, she's always looking for inspiration for her next project. And Ben and Emily, thrill seekers who live for this kind of stuff. They're always up for a new challenge. Sarah's the one who starts it all. She's been reading up on the place for weeks. "Think about it," she says. "What if we find something no one else has? We'd be legends." Her enthusiasm is contagious. The others aren't so sure, but eventually curiosity gets the better of them. They can't resist the lure of the unknown. So one Friday night they load up their gear, flashlights, cameras, snacks, and head out. The excitement is palpable as they embark on their spooky adventure. The hike to St. Hallow's is already creepy. The woods are unnaturally quiet. No birds, no rustling leaves, just silence. The deeper they go, the colder it gets, like the forest itself is warning them to turn back. Jake breaks the silence first. "Anyone else feel like we're being watched?" Claire scoffs. "It's just your imagination." But even she can't shake the feeling. When they finally reach the church, it's worse than they imagined. The building's practically falling apart, walls covered in moss, windows shattered, the whole thing leaning like it's ready to collapse. "Well, there it is," Sarah says, pulling out her camera. "Let's make history." Inside, the air is thick and musty. Everything's coated in dust, but the place doesn't feel empty. It feels alive, like it's been waiting for them. The walls are covered in faded murals, saints and angels with distorted faces, and the altar still bears that ominous message. "Forgive us, for we have failed." Sarah's snapping photos, Claire's trying to act unimpressed, and the others are exploring when the weird stuff starts happening. Ben hears someone whisper his name. Emily's flashlight flickers, even though it's brand new. "It's probably just the wiring," Claire says, but she doesn't sound convinced. Then they find the trapdoor. Hidden under a loose floorboard, it leads to a staircase spiralling down into the dark, an abyss that seems to swallow all light. "Do we really want to go down there?" Jake asks, clearly spooked, his voice echoing in the silence. "We've come this far," Claire says, though even she's hesitating, her eyes darting around nervously. They descend into the basement, and it's like stepping into another world, a world where time stands still and shadows dance on the walls. The walls are covered in strange symbols, circles and triangles that look like they belong in some ancient ritual, their meanings lost to time. There's a circle of burnt-out candles on the floor, and scattered around it are bones, human bones, remnants of a dark past. The air is freezing and the whispers are back, louder this time, filling the space with an eerie presence. "Guys, we need to leave," Sarah says, her voice trembling, eyes wide with fear. But before they can turn back, the trapdoor slams shut above them, sealing their fate in the darkness below. And then the chanting starts. It's low at first, like a hum, but it grows louder, filling the room. The symbols on the walls begin to glow, pulsing like they have a heartbeat. "Okay, this is officially messed up," Ben says, backing away. Then Sarah screams. They spin around, but she's gone. Her flashlight's lying on the ground, still on, but there's no sign of her. "What the hell?" Emily shouts. They try to run, but the room feels like it's closing in, the walls shifting and twisting like they're alive. Emily's the next to go, dragged into the darkness by something they can't see. Now it's just Claire, Jake and Ben. They're freaking out, trying to stick together, but the shadows are moving, literally moving. Tall, twisted shapes with glowing eyes and clawed fingers are coming toward them. Jake grabs Claire's arm. "This is bad, this is really bad." And then he's gone, yanked into the darkness, his screams echoing for a moment before cutting off completely. Claire and Ben are the last ones standing, cornered and out of options. The glowing symbols on the walls are blinding now, and the chanting is deafening. Then Claire sees it, a book. It's sitting on a pedestal in the centre of the room, glowing faintly. "That's it," she says. "That's what's causing this. What are you going to do?" Ben asks, panic in his voice. Claire doesn't answer. She rushes toward the book, but before she can reach it, the shadows grab Ben. He's dragged away, his screams fading into the endless dark. Now it's just Claire. She's trembling, tears streaming down her face, but she forces herself to move. Her heart pounds in her chest, each beat echoing in the eerie silence that has fallen around her. She grabs the book and opens it, and everything stops. The chanting, the shadows, the glowing symbols. The air feels heavy, almost suffocating, as if the room itself is holding its breath. For a second she thinks it's over, but then the book starts bleeding. Thick crimson blood seeps from the pages, staining her hands and dripping onto the floor. Thick, dark blood pours out, pooling at her feet. The sight is horrifying, and the metallic smell of blood fills the room, making her gag. The symbols on the walls burst into flames, and the room fills with smoke. The heat is intense, and she can barely see through the thick, choking smoke. Claire screams, slams the book shut, and everything goes black. The silence that follows is deafening, a stark contrast to the chaos that just unfolded. When she wakes up, she's outside. The cool air is a stark contrast to the suffocating heat she just experienced. The church is gone, like it was never there. The clearing is empty, devoid of any sign that the building ever existed. She stumbles back to town, half mad, rambling about what happened. No one believes her. They think she's lost her mind, driven to madness by grief or fear. The police search the woods but find nothing. No trace of the church, no evidence of the horrors she described. No church, no bones, no friends, just an empty, desolate forest that seems to swallow all traces of the past. Just Claire, who refuses to speak about it ever again. But here's the thing. The haunted look in her eyes tells a story she can't put into words. People say that if you wander too close to where the church used to be, you can still hear chanting. The eerie, otherworldly sounds that send chills down your spine. And sometimes people who hear it don't come back. They vanish without a trace, becoming part of the legend that haunts the town. Pause 2S. But Claire's story doesn't end there. Months after the incident, a group of paranormal investigators hears about her tale and decides to explore the area. They want to uncover the truth behind St. Hallow's Church, and they're armed with the latest technology and a healthy dose of skepticism. Pause 3S. As they approach the spot where the church once stood, their equipment starts to malfunction. Cameras flicker, compasses spin wildly, and a cold, unnatural breeze rustles through the trees. Despite the eerie atmosphere, they press on, determined to find answers. Pause 2S. After hours of searching, their leader, Mark, stumbles upon something odd, a patch of ground that feels hollow. They begin to dig, and soon they uncover an old, rusted trapdoor hidden beneath layers of dirt and leaves. Pause 3S. With a deep breath, they pry it open, revealing a dark, narrow staircase leading underground. The air is thick with the scent of damp earth and decay. Mark shines a flashlight down the stairs, revealing stone walls covered in strange, ancient symbols. Pause. 2S. They descend cautiously, each step echoing ominously in the confined space. At the bottom they find a small hidden chamber. It's filled with dusty relics, old books, and what appears to be an altar. Pause 3S. But the most chilling discovery is a series of carvings on the walls, depictions of rituals and sacrifices eerily similar to Claire's descriptions. One of the investigators, Sarah, picks up a book from the altar. As she opens it, the room suddenly grows colder, and a low, almost inaudible chanting fills the air. Pause 2S. The investigators exchange nervous glances, realizing they may have just awakened something ancient and malevolent. They quickly decide to leave, but as they turn to ascend the stairs, the trapdoor slams shut with a deafening thud, plunging them into darkness. Pause 3S. Panic sets in as they frantically try to open it, but it won't budge. The chanting grows louder, more insistent, and shadows begin to move in the corners of the room. The last thing the camera captures is their terrified faces, illuminated by the flickering flashlight, before the feed cuts out abruptly. Pause 2S. The investigators are never seen again. Their equipment is found scattered in the forest, but the trapdoor is gone, vanished without a trace, just like the church. Claire's story becomes more than a legend, it's a warning. Pause 2Es. Some places are better left undisturbed, their secrets buried deep. And if you ever find yourself near the old site of St. Hallow's Church, remember this. Some doors, once opened, can never be closed. Pause 2S. But the story doesn't end there. Claire, driven by an unshakable need for closure, decides to return to St. Hallow's Church. She's not alone this time. She brings a team of seasoned paranormal experts and a priest, Father O'Malley, who believes he can cleanse the cursed ground. Pause 3S. They arrive at dusk, the sun setting behind the twisted trees, casting long, ominous shadows. As they step onto the site, the air grows colder and an eerie silence envelops them. Pause 2S. Claire leads them to the spot where the trapdoor was found. They begin their ritual, chanting prayers and burning sage. The ground trembles beneath their feet, but they press on, determined to put an end to the malevolent force. Pause 3S. Suddenly the earth splits open with a deafening roar, revealing the trapdoor once more. The team exchanges nervous glances, but Father O'Malley steps forward, clutching his crucifix. He opens the trapdoor, and they descend into the darkness, their flashlights piercing the gloom. Pause 2S. In the hidden chamber, the air is thick with dread. The ancient symbols on the walls glow faintly, as if alive. Father O'Malley begins his exorcism, his voice strong and unwavering. The ground shakes violently, and a deafening howl fills the chamber. Pause 3S. Shadows swirl around them, taking form, and the team realizes they are not alone. Dark, twisted figures emerge, their eyes burning with malevolence. Claire and the others hold their ground, their faith stronger than their fear. Pause 2S. With a final powerful incantation, Father O'Malley thrusts his crucifix into the altar. A blinding light erupts from it, and the shadows scream in agony before dissolving into nothingness. The ground stops shaking, and an eerie calm settles over the chamber. Pause 2S. They ascend the stairs, the trapdoor closing behind them with a soft thud. The curse is broken, the evil banished, but the memory of St. Hallow's Church lingers in their minds. Pause 3S. Claire looks back one last time, a sense of peace washing over her. She knows the spirits are finally at rest, and the dark chapter of St. Hallow's Church is closed for good. Pause 2s. But as they walk away, a cold breeze rustles through the trees, whispering a final warning. Some secrets are never truly buried, and some doors once opened can never be closed. Pause 2s. But as they walk away, a cold breeze rustles through the trees, whispering a final warning. Some secrets are never truly buried, and some doors once opened can never be closed. Pause 2s. Suddenly, the ground begins to quake again, more violently than before. Claire and the team whirl around, their eyes wide with terror. The trapdoor bursts open and a blinding light shoots into the sky. Pause 2s. Father O'Malley shouts for everyone to run. They sprint through the forest, the light behind them growing ever brighter. Pause 2s. The trees seem to close in on them, branches clawing at their clothes and skin. Pause 2s. Claire trips over a root, falling hard to the ground. Pause 2s. One of the paranormal experts, Jake, grabs her arm and pulls her up, urging her to keep moving. Pause 2s. They burst out of the forest and into the clearing where their vehicles are parked. Pause 2s. The ground is still shaking, the light from the trapdoor now a towering column of pure energy. Pause 2s. Father O'Malley screams for them to get in the cars. They pile in, slamming the door shut and speeding away from the cursed site. Pause 2s. Claire looks back one last time, the church now a distant silhouette against the bright, unnatural light. Pause 2s. She knows they've escaped, but the memory of St. Hallow's Church will haunt them forever. Pause 2s. The curse may be broken, but some scars never heal. Pause 2s. They drive into the night, leaving behind the horrors of the past, but carrying the weight of their encounter forever.